Welcome to Heartbreak Chronicles. Move out at once. This house belongs to me now, and you and your son have no right to live here anymore. Ryan, a well-built man who smelled of expensive cologne, stood on the front of the spacious porch of Ethan's house and snarled at Ethan in a triumphant, condescending manner. Behind him was parked a brand new Porsche, glinting blindingly in the sunlight. Ethan clasped his arms and looked coldly at the intruder, a stranger he'd never met before, but who had the audacity to be so arrogant as to make such a rude request of him. What's even more mind-boggling is that the woman standing behind Ryan is his wife, Vanessa. Today, Vanessa, dressed in a well-tailored Chanel suit, her delicate makeup couldn't hide the fatigue and nervousness on her face, and she kept her head down, avoiding Ethan's gaze. "Ethan, this is my lawyer, Michael, and he'll explain everything to you." Vanessa's voice was low and raspy, very different from her usual crisp, sweet voice. Michael, a middle-aged man wearing a meticulous suit and gold-rimmed glasses, took out a document from his briefcase and handed it to Ethan. "Mr. Grant, according to your father's will and the prenuptial agreement between you and Ms. Vanessa, this house belongs to Ms. Vanessa's prenuptial property, and now, please move out of it as soon as you can." Ethan's head buzzed as if he'd been struck by lightning. He looked at Michael incredulously and then turned to Vanessa, his voice trembling as he asked, "Vanessa, what the hell is going on here? A will? A prenuptial agreement? What are you talking about?" Vanessa still kept her head down, afraid to look at him. Ryan, on the other hand, stepped forward and swept Vanessa into his arms, looking at Ethan provocatively. "Don't you understand? This house is now mine and you, swept off your feet." The suddenness of it all is like a dystopian nightmare, tearing Ethan's otherwise peaceful life apart. Just a year ago, everything was so wonderful: a cozy family, a beautiful wife, a cute son. He thought he had the world, but now he was sent to hell by this sudden change. He needed to know exactly how it happened. The story, again, begins a year ago. Ethan is a highly skilled emergency medical helicopter pilot whose job is fraught with danger and challenge, where every takeoff can be a test of life and death. But he loves the job because he knows that he is charged with saving lives. Long-term work at height and irregular work and rest time make him appear more mature than his peers. The fine lines at the corners of his eyes and a few strands of gray hair on his temples are the traces left by age and responsibility. Despite his busy schedule, Ethan's love for his family never diminished, and he always put his wife Vanessa and 8-year-old son Liam first. He works hard to provide them with the best possible life so that they can live a happy and carefree life. Vanessa is a fashion blogger with hundreds of thousands of followers. She is beautiful and exudes glamour in every move she makes. On social media, she's glowing, trend-setting, and the envy of millions. She often shares her outfit tips, beauty tips, and life lessons to create a sophisticated and beautiful lifestyle. In Ethan's eyes, Vanessa is the perfect wife, gentle and understanding. They met in college, and Vanessa's cheerfulness attracted Ethan, while Ethan's calmness and reliability made Vanessa find a harbor she could rely on. After their marriage, they have been living an enviable life. Ethan is responsible for earning money to support the family, Vanessa keeps the house in order, and Liam is well-behaved, making the family a happy one. However, beneath the facade of happiness, cracks are growing. As Liam grew older and Ethan's flying duties became more demanding, he was often unable to return home for days or even weeks at a time. And even when he did, he was always so exhausted that he fell asleep. Vanessa understands the nature of Ethan's work, but the long hours alone still leave her feeling lonely and lost. She began devoting more time to her career, attending frequent fashion events and brand collaborations to fill the void within. At first, Ethan doesn't notice the change in Vanessa. He thinks it's just a sign of his wife's career aspirations and is even proud of her success. It wasn't until the last few months that Vanessa's changes became more and more noticeable, and it started to get on his nerves. She started going out more often, always coming home late and sometimes staying out all night, citing fitness and work. Her cell phone was never far away, always in her hand even at home, and whenever a message came in, she would quickly check it and then give a nervous look as if she was hiding some secret. At a family dinner, Liam excitedly tells Ethan about a funny incident at school, while Vanessa absent-mindedly fiddles with her cell phone. Suddenly, a message popped up and Vanessa's face instantly turned pale as she quickly hid her phone behind her back and explained in a panic. A work message, nothing important. Ethan's heart stuttered as he caught a sharp glimpse of Vanessa's abnormality, and a sense of foreboding surged through him. He watched Vanessa without moving, noticing that her dressing had changed recently, with a greater emphasis on designer labels and luxury items, which was a far cry from her previous minimalist style. "I've been working out well lately, and I'm getting in better shape," Ethan asked tentatively after dinner, but his gaze was locked on Vanessa's eyes. Vanessa straightened her long hair and smiled unnaturally. "Yeah? It's probably because I've been training harder lately." "Which gym is it? I'd like to try it." "Oh, it's that Sculpt downtown. It's a pretty nice environment and the instructors are very professional." Vanessa replied hastily, then excused herself to attend to her work and went into the study. Ethan made a silent note of the gym's name and decided to check it out for himself. Maybe he could find some clues. He started to keep a close eye on Vanessa and realized that she went to this gym 3 to 4 days a week and stayed late every time. This reinforces Ethan's conviction that Vanessa must be hiding something from him. Though he doesn't want to think the worst, he still can't help but wonder if his Vanessa is really cheating on him. In the suburbs of Los Angeles, Ethan's home, a modern villa that was once a happy harbor for their family of 3, now looms under a shadow. Every familiar corner, every piece of carefully selected furniture seems to carry sweet memories of the past, but silently speaks of the present alienation and indifference. Ethan often sits alone on the couch in the living room, looking at the family photos hanging on the wall, where the family is smiling so happily, while the reality is that the family is riddled with holes. Vanessa's go-to gym, Sculpt, is located in the heart of downtown Los Angeles and is one of the city's most high-end gyms. It is lavishly decorated with state-of-the-art facilities and gathers many social celebrities and celebrity netizens. Those who work out here seek not only a healthy body, but also a refined lifestyle and social experience. Here, Vanessa seems to have found another world where she belongs, a world very different from Ethan's world of flight. Ethan decides that he's not going to sit around and wait for the truth to come out. He's going to take the initiative and find out the truth. He knew that if Vanessa was really hiding something from him, then the Sculpt gym and that Ryan guy would probably be the breakthrough. He starts secretly investigating Vanessa's whereabouts. He pretended, as he usually did, that he didn't care about Vanessa's affairs and responded to her increasingly frequent late returns and even all-nighters with a bland "yes, got it." He even pretended to care about Vanessa's workouts at the gym as well, saying that he hoped she would keep working out and stay in shape. He knew that the more he acted like nothing was wrong, the more Vanessa would let her guard down so he could continue his investigation. When Vanessa stays out late again, citing a party with her girlfriends, Ethan quietly contacts a private detective agency and hires an experienced detective to follow Vanessa. Meanwhile, from his briefcase, he found the marriage license of the two of them. Behind the marriage license was the prenuptial agreement they had signed in the first place. Ethan read this agreement again carefully and focused on the part about the division of property, which might be the only straw he could grab now. "Mr. Grant, at your request, we conducted a 2-week follow-up on your wife, Vanessa Grant." A few days later, in a secluded cafe, the detective pushed a craft paper bag in front of Ethan. "All the information is here." Ethan took a deep breath and opened the paper bag, which contained a stack of photographs and a detailed investigation report. The photos show Vanessa going in and out of various places and acting intimate with a tall, muscular man, who is none other than Ryan, who showed up on his doorstep that day. They were in and out of the Sculpt gym together, dined at fine restaurants together, attended social gatherings together, and even went into hotels together. Each photo was like a sharp knife, piercing Ethan's heart. The investigative report details Vanessa and Ryan's movements, as well as Ryan's personal information. Ryan, 35, is the star trainer at Sculpt Gym and founder of a fitness apparel brand that has been growing rapidly in recent years, focusing on the high-end market. The report also mentions that Ryan and Vanessa's relationship has long been no secret in the fitness community, with the two often attending events together, and there are even rumors that Ryan is working on an endorsement for Vanessa's brand. Ethan clenched his fists so tightly that his knuckles were white from the effort. He can't believe that his beloved wife would cheat on him, and with a fitness instructor at that. What he couldn't accept more was that he was the last to know the truth. To further confirm Vanessa and Ryan's relationship, Ethan begins secretly looking at Vanessa's credit card statements. He discovered that in recent months, Vanessa's credit card spending history showed multiple high-dollar purchases, mainly at hotels, luxury stores, and upscale restaurants. One of the purchases that caught Ethan's attention was for thousands of dollars at a luxury hotel in downtown Los Angeles. Ethan remembered that Vanessa had once mentioned this hotel to him, saying that it was a newly opened hotel with a very nice environment and that many celebrities and netizens like to go there to clock in. Ethan decided to check out this hotel for himself. He booked a room at this hotel on business. The hotel lobby is opulent and lavishly decorated, showing dignity and taste everywhere. Ethan was checking in at the front desk when he overheard a conversation between two ladies next to him. "Did you see Vanessa's Instagram last night? She's with Ryan again." "Yeah, they've been really inseparable lately. I wonder if her pilot husband knows?" Ethan's heart sinks as he finally realizes that Vanessa's cheating has become an open secret, and he's been kept in the dark like a fool. Back in his room, Ethan scrutinized Vanessa's spending records for the last few months and found that in addition to hotels, there were many luxury stores. He remembered that Vanessa had been wearing some designer clothes and jewelry he had never seen before a lot lately, and when he had asked her where they came from, Vanessa had always downplayed it by saying that they were samples from a brand collaboration and told him not to worry. Now that I think about it, I'm afraid all these so-called brand collaborations were given to her by Ryan. As the investigation progresses, Vanessa's psyche is revealed. During his interaction with the detective, Ethan learns that Vanessa is extremely unhappy with her current state of life. She believes that Ethan, while a good pilot, is a career that doesn't give her the life she wants. She craves luxury, attention, and excitement, none of which Ethan can fulfill. Ryan comes along and fills just the right void inside her. Ryan is young, handsome, considerate, and has a successful career that fulfills both Vanessa's physical and spiritual needs. Under Ryan's sweet words and fierce attack, Vanessa gradually falls, and she begins to indulge in the passionate and exciting affair, unable to extricate herself from it. She enjoys the attention and pampering Ryan brings her, the vanity of being in and out of all kinds of upscale places with him, but completely forgets her responsibilities as a wife and mother. And that luxury hotel in downtown LA became Vanessa and Ryan's secret rendezvous spot. The hotel's luxurious suites, exquisite meals, and expensive wines together form a hotbed for their cheating. Here, Vanessa can temporarily forget all the troubles of real life and enjoy the pleasure of this forbidden love. In addition to hotels, Vanessa and Ryan frequent a variety of upscale venues such as Michelin restaurants, private clubs, and fashionable parties. At these venues, Vanessa can show off her beauty and charisma and be the center of attention, while Ryan, like an escort, is always by her side to satisfy her vanity. Ethan finally realizes that he has been living a beautiful lie all along. He used to think that he had a perfect family, a loving wife, and a cute son. His wife betrayed him long ago, and he's still in the dark like a fool. Faced with this brutal truth, Ethan is overwhelmed with anger and pain. He used to trust Vanessa so much, love her so much, and work his ass off for her and the family, even risking his life. And her? Instead, she repaid his devotion with betrayal. Ethan's heart was bleeding, but he knew that now was not the time to grieve. He had to pull himself together and get justice for himself and his son. Ethan's heart plummets in the face of ironclad betrayal, but he knows that now is not the time to wallow in misery. He must calm down and plan for his future and that of his son Liam. Anger burned like a wildfire in his heart, but he forced himself to calm down and turn that anger into vengeance. Ethan knew that he would need careful planning and professional help to win this unexpected war. He contacted an attorney named Robert, a close friend from his father's life and one of the most prominent divorce attorneys in Los Angeles. In Robert's office, Ethan spills the beans about Vanessa and Ryan and asks Robert for help. "Ethan, I'm sorry to hear that," Robert said sympathetically as he listened to Ethan's account. "But you did the right thing, and it's very important to gather evidence in a timely manner. Based on the information you've provided and California law, you're in a very strong position in this divorce lawsuit. We can help you get custody of Liam and protect your property as much as possible." Over the next few days, Ethan embarks on an elaborate plan of revenge under Robert's guidance. First, they need to protect Ethan's property, especially the legacy Ethan's father left him. According to Ethan's father's will, this portion of the estate belonged to Ethan's personal property and had nothing to do with Vanessa. However, Robert discovers that Vanessa and Ryan are trying to transfer some of their assets into Ryan's account, apparently in preparation for their divorce. "We need to act now," Robert told Ethan. "We need to freeze your joint accounts immediately and apply to the court for a property protection order to prevent Vanessa from transferring further assets." So, with Robert's assistance, Ethan acted quickly to freeze the family's joint account. The move catches Vanessa and Ryan off guard. They had thought Ethan knew nothing about their plans, but they didn't realize that Ethan had already been secretly laying the groundwork. At the same time, Ethan protected the integrity of Ethan's father's estate under the terms of the prenuptial agreement. As it turns out, Ethan and Vanessa had signed a prenuptial agreement prior to their marriage, which specified the attribution of the parties' premarital and marital property. According to this agreement, the inheritance left to him by Ethan's father is Ethan's personal property, and Vanessa is not entitled to divide it, even in the event of a divorce. This prenuptial agreement was a real help, Robert told Ethan. "It's a good thing your father had the foresight back then, or your loss would have been much worse." After protecting his property, Ethan sets out to get custody of Liam. For Ethan, Liam is the most important being in his life, and he must not let Vanessa and Ryan take him away. Robert told Ethan that under California law, courts prioritize the best interests of the child when awarding custody. Ethan's hopes for custody are high as a father with a steady job and income and the ability to provide a good living environment, coupled with evidence of Vanessa's infidelity. "We've submitted evidence of Vanessa and Ryan's infidelity to the court," Robert told Ethan, "and that evidence will be very favorable to your bid for custody." While working on the legal layout, Ethan decides to give Ryan a surprise. He knows that Ryan's brand of fitness is the center of gravity for his career and a major capitalization of his attraction to Vanessa. If it's possible to put Ryan's brand in jeopardy, then the relationship between him and Vanessa is bound to suffer. So Ethan anonymously sent a whistleblower letter to Ryan's fitness brand investor. In the letter, Ethan detailed Ryan's infidelity and his affair with Vanessa, attaching photographs taken by detectives as evidence. Ethan also implied that Ryan had financial problems that could affect the company's operations. The whistleblower letter quickly made a difference. Investors were so outraged by Ryan's behavior that they began an investigation into Ryan's brand and demanded an explanation. In time, Ryan's fitness brand was in a crisis of confidence, with shares plummeting and investors pulling out. Ethan also purposely acts cold and detached in front of Vanessa. He no longer cares about Vanessa's day-to-day life or asks about her whereabouts as he used to. Whenever Vanessa tries to communicate with him, Ethan always responds to her with coldness, even suggesting that he already knows her secret. "Vanessa, you know in your heart what's going on between us." One night, Ethan looked at Vanessa, who was putting on her makeup and getting ready to go out, and said coldly, "I just didn't want to break you down and give you a little FaceTime." Vanessa's face instantly turned pale. She didn't expect Ethan to suddenly say something like that. She tries to explain, but Ethan cuts her off. "No need to explain, Vanessa. I don't want to hear it. It's none of my business what you do, as long as you don't hurt Liam." Ethan's words sent a wave of panic through Vanessa. She had no idea how much Ethan really knew or what he would do next. This fear of the unknown was like a big, invisible net, enveloping her tightly and leaving her breathless. All of these actions by Ethan took place at different locations in Los Angeles. Robert's law firm, located in an upscale office building in downtown Los Angeles, is Ethan's command center for his revenge plan. Ethan came in several times to discuss the situation with Robert and work out a plan of action. Ryan's fitness brand headquarters, on the other hand, is located in another bustling part of Los Angeles. It used to be a symbol of Ryan's career and a place he and Vanessa frequented. But with the whistleblower letter, the place gradually became cold. The employees were on edge, and customers were lost. Ethan's home, a place that was once filled with laughter, is now filled with depression and indifference. The relationship between Ethan and Vanessa drops to freezing point. and the two are strangers even though they still live under the same roof. As Ethan's plan is implemented step by step, cracks begin to appear in Vanessa and Ryan's relationship. Ryan is burnt out about the brand crisis and has grown cold towards Vanessa. He begins to complain that Vanessa doesn't offer him enough help and even wonders if Vanessa really loves him. And Vanessa begins to doubt Ryan's sincerity as she realizes that Ryan isn't as perfect as she thought he was. He's selfish, hypocritical, and simply can't give her the security she wants. She began to miss the old days with Ethan, the warmth of that home, the man who had loved her so much. However, it was already too late. Ethan's heart was broken by her long ago, and there's no way he'll ever forgive her for her betrayal. And Liam, Ethan would never let her take. He's going to make Vanessa pay for her behavior, and he's going to make her taste what it's like to lose everything. Ethan's plan for revenge is like a carefully woven web that gradually envelopes Vanessa and Ryan in a crisis they've never known before. Ryan's fitness brand is rapidly going under because of investor withdrawals and negative press. The once prominent star coach is now lawsuit-ridden and infamous. Ryan's corporate headquarters, once a benchmark in the Los Angeles fitness scene, symbolizes success and style. And now, the place is shuttered and depressed. Employees were leaving, and there was a massive loss of customers. Ryan spends his days juggling lawsuits and debts, and his once glamorous office is now littered with papers and bills, and the air is thick with anxiety and despair. And the man who started it all, Ethan, is watching in the cold. He follows Ryan's movements through various channels, admiring his step-by-step journey to destruction. He knew it was only a matter of time before Ryan broke down. And Vanessa, too, will pay dearly for her betrayal. As Ryan's branding crisis intensifies, so does the tension between him and Vanessa. Ryan begins to talk coldly to Vanessa and even blames Vanessa for the company's failures. He accuses Vanessa of not using her influence to help him through his difficulties and complains that she has not been of substantial help to him. Don't you have a lot of fans? Don't you know a lot of rich people? Why don't you help me? Ryan yelled at Vanessa during an argument. Do you not love me at all? You're just trying to use me. Vanessa was stung deeply by Ryan's words. She hadn't expected Ryan to doubt her like that. She used to think Ryan was the one, the man who could bring her happiness and security. But now, she realizes that Ryan's love is so fragile and selfish. Ryan, how could you say that about me? Vanessa cried. After all I've done for you, you doubt my sincerity? True heart? How much is your true heart worth? Ryan sneered. If your sincerity doesn't help me out, then it's worthless to me. Ryan's desperation leaves Vanessa completely devastated, and she begins to wonder if she made the right choice in the first place. She had betrayed Ethan and her family for Ryan, and now Ryan was doing this to her. She felt immense regret and pain, but nothing could be undone. Meanwhile, Ethan's petition for divorce filed with the court was accepted. The court preliminarily ruled that Ethan had the upper hand in this divorce lawsuit based on the evidence Ethan presented, as well as the relevant California law. At the Los Angeles courthouse, the atmosphere in the solemn courtroom was stark and oppressive. Ethan and Vanessa were seated at the plaintiff's and defendant's tables, respectively, and their attorneys were engaged in a heated argument. Ethan's attorney, Robert, presented evidence of Vanessa and Ryan's infidelity to the court, including photographs, hotel records, and witness statements. He also pointed out that Vanessa had been unfaithful during the marriage, had severely hurt Ethan's feelings, and asked the court to award Ethan custody of Liam, as well as a reasonable division of property. Vanessa's attorney, on the other hand, tried to argue that Vanessa and Ryan were just friends, and there was no inappropriate behavior. But Vanessa's lawyers pale in the face of the hard evidence Ethan provides. In court, Vanessa's face pales. She didn't realize Ethan had so much evidence. She used to think she could hide it from the world, but she didn't realize that Ethan had already been secretly investigating and had pushed her to the brink. As the trial progresses, Vanessa's psychological defenses crumble. She began to realize that she was about to lose everything, including her family, her children, and her reputation. She was overwhelmed with fear and despair, but it was too late. Outside of the courtroom, Vanessa's social media accounts have come under heavy attack from netizens. Ethan's anonymous whistleblower letter and a public court hearing bring Vanessa's affair to light. Fans who once held Vanessa as a goddess have expressed their disappointment and anger, attacking Vanessa with all kinds of vitriol, accusing her of being an unfaithful wife and an irresponsible mother. Vanessa's personal social media platform, once a stage for her to showcase herself and gain attention, has now become a venue for her to suffer from cyber violence. Her comments section is filled with all sorts of abuse and insults, and the praise and admiration she once had has long since disappeared. Vanessa tried to defend herself on social media, but her explanation was drowned out in a torrent of online abuse. Her number of followers plummeted, brand collaborations were canceled, and she went from being a fashion blogger with hundreds of thousands of followers to a street rat that everyone reviled. Vanessa is completely devastated by the double blow to her career and her reputation. She spent the whole day in tears, in a trance, and even showed symptoms of severe depression. She tries to contact Ryan, but Ryan shuns her. He's too far gone to worry about Vanessa's feelings. Eventually, Ryan's fitness brand went completely out of business, and he himself was investigated by the police for alleged financial fraud and illegal trading. To escape the law, Ryan is forced to travel far away from home, abandoning Vanessa completely. Vanessa had gone to the airport to look for Ryan the day he left Los Angeles. She begged Ryan not to leave her, but Ryan coldly pushed her away. "Vanessa, it's over between us," Ryan said coldly as he looked at Vanessa. "You don't have any use for me anymore, and I don't have to tangle with you any longer." Ryan's words were like a sharp knife, stabbing hard into Vanessa's heart. She hadn't expected the man she had once loved so much to be so desperate. She'd given so much to Ryan, and Ryan hadn't hesitated to abandon her when she needed him most. Vanessa is utterly desperate. She has lost her home, her children, her career, and her love. She wandered the streets of Los Angeles like a lone soul, not knowing where to go. Ethan watched Vanessa's tragic end coldly without a trace of sympathy in his heart. He used to love her so much that he gave everything he had for her and the family, and she repaid him with betrayal and lies. It was the punishment she deserved, his best revenge for her betrayal. With Vanessa and Ryan's complete breakdown, Ethan's life gradually returns to peace. The court ultimately awarded Ethan full custody of Liam, while Vanessa was ordered to pay a certain amount of alimony and was restricted in the number of times she could visit Liam. Ethan felt both relief and mixed feelings about the outcome. He wins the war, protects Liam, and gets justice for his dignity. But instead of the joy of victory, there was a deep exhaustion and loss in his heart. It was saddening to see the woman he once loved so much end up in such a state. Nonetheless, life goes on. Ethan decides to take Liam away from Los Angeles, a place full of painful memories, and start a new life. He sold his suburban home and moved with Liam to a quiet town in Northern California. There is no hustle and bustle of the big city here, only beautiful natural scenery and simple folk. In his new home, Ethan struggles to play the role of a single father. He drives Liam to and from school every day, does his homework with him, and takes him to nearby parks and beaches on weekends. Liam is also gradually moving on from his parents' divorce, becoming more understanding than ever and cherishing the time he spends with Ethan. "Daddy, will you ever leave me again?" One night, Liam was lying in bed and suddenly asked Ethan. Ethan's heart ached as he realized that Liam was referring to the fact that he used to travel a lot. He wrapped his arms around Liam and whispered, "No more, Daddy will never leave you again." In order to be a better companion for Liam and to give his life a fresh start, Ethan makes an important decision. He quits his job as a pilot. For someone who considers flying to be his life, the decision was undoubtedly a difficult one. But for Liam, Ethan thinks it's all worth it. Ethan didn't leave the aviation field entirely, and with his years of flying experience and expertise, he has transitioned into a career training instructor to help young people who are interested in entering the rescue industry realize their dreams. He got a job at a local flight school to train new pilots and pass on his years of rescue experience. This job has allowed Ethan to find new value and meaning. He loved being around young people and seeing the love and vision of flying in their eyes. He incorporates his own life experiences and insights into his teaching, hoping to help them become better pilots and to prevent them from repeating their own mistakes. Vanessa, on the other hand, tries to win Ethan back after being dumped by Ryan, but is coldly rejected by Ethan. She lost her property, her home, and her children, and her reputation was in tatters. She has tried to get back on social media, but the attacks and abuse from netizens never stop. Every single dynamic she posts draws countless negative comments. She's like a street rat. Everyone's a rat. Vanessa also tried to contact Liam, but Ethan limited Vanessa's contact with Liam to protect him. He worries that Vanessa's mental state will have a negative effect on Liam and that Vanessa will once again involve Liam in her chaotic life. Vanessa, the most important thing you need to do right now is to reflect on yourself instead of bothering me and Liam. During a phone call, Ethan said coldly to Vanessa, "You'll be qualified to be a mother when you actually realize the error of your ways and take responsibility for your actions." Vanessa is utterly desperate, having lost everything, including her qualifications as a mother. She left Los Angeles and returned to her hometown, a place where no one knew about her past, to try to start over. But that unforgiving experience was like a brand, forever etched on her body, preventing her from truly freeing herself from it. Years later, Ethan wrote a book about his and Vanessa's story called The Price of Betrayal. In his book, he details the experience, as well as his own reflections and insights. With this book, he hopes to warn those who have lost themselves in marriage that fidelity is the cornerstone of marriage and betrayal will only ruin everything. "I used to think that I had the perfect family, a loving wife, an adorable son," Ethan writes in the book's preface, "but a sudden betrayal shattered it all. I experienced pain, anger, revenge, and ultimately, I chose to forgive and let go. I wrote this book not to gain sympathy or to condemn anyone, but I hope that through my story, more people will understand that marriage requires loyalty and responsibility, and that betrayal only brings destruction." The publication of this book has generated a strong social response. Many readers were blown away by Ethan's story and were alerted to Vanessa's tragic end. The book became a bestseller and was translated into several languages and published around the world. Ethan has also become a public figure, and he is often invited to participate in various talk shows and speaking engagements to share his stories and insights. He uses his own personal experience to show the importance of fidelity and responsibility to a marriage and the dangers of betrayal and lies. Liam, on the other hand, is growing up healthy and happy under Ethan's loving care. He has grown from a child who had experienced family changes to a sunny and confident teenager. He understood the feud between his parents, but he chose to forgive and let go. He knew that his father had given a lot to him, and he wanted to return his love with his own efforts. Ethan and Liam begin a new journey in life. They left the bustle of Los Angeles for a quiet town. There are no skyscrapers, no traffic, only beautiful natural scenery and simple folk. Ethan and Liam's new home, nestled on a tree-lined hillside. It is a cozy and comfortable cabin with a small garden in front of the house, filled with a variety of flowers and plants. Here, Ethan and Liam can enjoy a peaceful life away from the hustle and bustle of the city. Instead, the venue for Vanessa's attempted comeback is a cold stage and unattended social media accounts. She has tried to get back into the public eye, but every attempt has ended in failure. Her name has become a negative label, a synonym for betrayal and lies. In the end, Ethan finds peace and happiness of his own, while Vanessa spends the rest of her life in remorse and loneliness. Their story serves as a warning to people to cherish the person in front of them, to be faithful to their marriages and families, and not to let the temptation of the moment ruin their lives. That's the end of today's story. For more captivating tales, hit subscribe and never miss an episode.